So I'm back. So wood is very fragile against blasting. You blasting metal and wood at the same time. The wood's always going to give up the ghost. It's going to yield. It's going to break. It's going to it's going to fail. So as a result, I had to, and I chose to remove this cowl that went right here, because in the cowl itself, there's areas that you could not have blasted unless you took the metal off. And it's bolted on. The cowl was bolted on in place and tack welded in these corners. Right here and over there, and then lead was put on there. So I'm going to re-weld it. I'm going to re-lead it, put it back on. But the question is, do you, or when I am presented with some work to do, I see this as a failure if I don't get this kind of material off, meaning this rust and this old paint and stuff from underneath it. In areas that I can blast, I look at that as a failure. So I don't want to be a failure. I want to be successful. But also I'm shrinking the size of this tub down so I can blast it more easily, completely, quickly, and thoroughly. You notice here it had some extra wooden frame pieces. I removed those the other day, along with, as I said, the aforementioned cowl, and of course the dash. The dashboard's made out of wood. But what I'm going to also do is remove this back panel. That's going to go off, and I'm going to be building a metal structure, a metal frame on the inside here to reinvigorate the strength of the body, so I can pick it up, move it around, and hang it on the other end or hang it on the top end in the blasting booth there and blast it. So with the tail panel gone, I'll replace it with some metal bracing all throughout there and make sure it's good to go and no problems. So these are things that we have to be aware of, is not tearing up the wood in the blasting process. So I'm gonna have to cover this up better and protect it and prevent it from being eaten away. This kind of rust, it was not discoverable until after all the paint was off of it. And I couldn't blast this vehicle with anything but the most gentle blasting media possible, which I outlined yesterday, the type 5 acrylic. And we all know that does nothing at all for the rust. So the owner and I, or the owner's approval has approved my suggestion that we go ahead, we conduct a secondary media blast on the vehicle with a slightly more aggressive plastic, which will work, which will get it clean, and then I'll be ready to epoxy prime the entire thing and then do the metalworking on that back fender over there. But some areas like in here, underneath the wood, that's rust. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get that out, if I can. And as I said yesterday, I'm not quite sure about the OSFO, how it will act or react with the wood. I don't even want to try it. I don't even want to risk it. I don't even want to introduce those kind of chemicals. So I have to do these processes right now, stripping this down as much as possible, and what is left that is risking possible damages, I have to mitigate that by removing it if possible or covering it up as possible, and then reinforcing the entire structure. You're not doing any favors to the customer or your business reputation if you don't do these things. So it's a lot of leaning forward into the workload to get it right. So those are the tasks, conditions, and standard. Task, condition, and standard on this car. So I look at things, anything I do, respective of my lane, I look at things in those three aspects: task, condition, and standard. So the task is media blast this. The condition is It's a wooden frame vehicle, and the standard is no damages and all the rust gone. So in order to meet all those things, you have to do this right now, what I'm doing, and that's some of the homework, and that is some of the strengthening the body and taking off the dash panel to get it clean. So if you can apply those things in your whatever you do in your profession, I think you might be successful. You might stand to improve your success ratio if you look at things that way. So anyways, folks, gotta go. See ya. Bye-bye.